Hello again and welcome back. I'm Sylvia, the founder of your Natural Health Educator YouTube channel. Here's what we're going to learn today. We're going to start by learning how to identify calendula. It's really important that you understand the features of calendula so that you can identify it and know what is not calendula. Then we're going to talk about how to harvest it properly, and then we're going to finish by making a nice, simple, healthy calendula tea. And why do we want to make calendula tea? Again, calendula has lots of nice healing properties, medicinal properties, such as helping with inflammation, helping with digestive issues, and helping with immune support. So this is just the beginning of what we're going to be creating with calendula. Today it will be the tea, and in the next video that I'm going to do for you, we're going to create a calendula infused oil that you can use to make your own calendula salves and salves, tinctures, whatever, to again expand how you can use calendula as a healing herbal medicine. And don't worry, I'm going to show you exactly what to look for in terms of identifying calendula to make sure that you are 100% confident that you're choosing the right plant. You don't want to choose a calendula look-alike because it may not be safe for you to consume. All right, so let's start by making sure that you know how to identify calendula correctly. So what you're going to look for is, there we go, this nice orange blossom. So, nice orange blossom looks like this all the way around, and calendula has this elongated leaf that's almost a little bit hairy if you feel it. As opposed to, this is what's called the common marigold. So you can see the difference between the two. Here's calendula, here's your common marigold. Marigold. No, marigold. And the leaf structures, so here's your calendula leaf and here's your marigold leaf. So you can see they're quite different, okay? So calendula and marigold. So now you know how to look for them. Calendula also has a little sticky stem, so when you're feeling the stem, you'll find it's almost like it's got a little bit of honey or something stuck to it. Calendula also has a very distinct sweet and spicy scent to it. As opposed to marigold, lost my marigold. So marigold does not have a sweet and spicy scent to it. The confusion can also be tied to what some people call calendula. Sometimes you'll see calendula called the pot marigold. Now, the best time to harvest calendula is in the mid-morning, once the dew has dried off the flowers and the plants. And then what you want to do is choose fully opened flowers like this one. So fully opened, not just, a partially opened flower head. You want to gently cut off or pinch the flower head at the base. So this is what I'm calling the base of the flower. And you want to just pinch it off like that. It comes off quite easily, so you don't have to worry about using scissors. If you don't like this sense of stickiness, well then you can use scissors too if you want. You want to collect it in either a straw basket or a paper bag. And I'll use a paper bag if I'm going to be storing it for a little bit. I may be picking it today but not using it till tomorrow, so I'll put it in the paper bag. I prefer not to use plastic bags, and I would recommend that you stay away from plastic bags as well. If you're not using your calendula right away, the flowers that you've picked, if you stick them in a plastic bag, they're going to get a bit steamy and start to sort of disintegrate, which you don't want. And then there's always the concern about the plastic leaching into, the plant potentially. The interesting thing about calendula is that the more you pick, the more you harvest, the more blossoms you're going to get. So I know with some plants, if you pick them, it's quite a while before it has the oomph to develop more blossoms. But with calendula, you'll see them fairly quickly. You'll pick a blossom and you'll see in a couple of days that there's 2 or 3 more blossoms ready to come up. Now for the fun part. Let's make a healing calendula tea together. All right, so I'm going to go and get the kettle on and get that water boiling so we can get our tea started. There we go. So here's what you'll need. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of fresh calendula petals. So here's what I've picked this morning. Here's my fresh calendula petals. And I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of the fresh. If you don't have fresh, if you've picked in advance and dried them, then it will be 1 tablespoon of the dried. You can see it's much flakier, much lighter, much smaller, and that's why you only need 1 tablespoon as opposed to 2 tablespoons of the fresh petals. 8 ounces, so 8 ounces or a cup. I'm using this measuring cup. And 8 ounces of hot water, did I say that? And a teapot or a mason jar. Some people like to make it into a mason jar, cool it, and then put it in the fridge for maybe making into an iced tea or something later. You're also going to need a strainer. So in my case, my strainer came with my little teapot, so it fits right in nicely like that. But you can use a number of different varieties of strainers. I also picked this up at the dollar store, so I could put my fresh or dried leaves in here, pour my hot water in, and then strain it this way, and I can pour it right out of here. This is actually a coffee press, a French coffee press, I think they call them. That was at the dollar store. Use hot water, not direct boiling water. So you don't want to take your boiling water off the stove or wherever you're doing it and pouring it straight over. That has the possibility of starting to destroy some of the constituents that are in the tea, in the calendula leaves that you want to maintain, you want to preserve. So let it boil, let it sit for a little bit, and then use it to make your tea. Covering it, once you put your hot water in, it's important to cover it so that your essential oils that are in the tea leaves don't evaporate up into the air. You're actually preserving them in this container. And then you're going to let it steep for 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how strong you like it. Once it has steeped for 10 to 15 minutes, you're actually going to see a nice golden color. So your tea water is going to be a nice golden color. So that tells you that all those medicinal benefits that were in the leaves have now dispersed into the tea water. So the benefits of calendula are that they soothe digestive issues. So if you have a tendency to have indigestion, maybe after a meal or something, the calendula tea will be able to help you with that. It also helps to support your immune system. So great to have when we're going into flu season, or just if you have a tendency to you're the first one to catch the flu in the family or something. Have some calendula tea once or twice a day during those times when it is flu season, and or if you're needing to boost your immunity for some reason, 1 to 2 cups of tea, calendula tea, will help you with that. It also reduces. So calendula also reduces inflammation. So if you have some sort of inflammatory process going on in your body, again, 1 to 2 cups of calendula tea a day will help address that issue. It also causes skin irritations. So what I like to do is, once my calendula tea is cooled, if I've had a cup and maybe there's a little bit left over, you can actually do like a skin wash with it. So dip it in a little cotton pad or something and add it to the skin where you might have some irritation. I've also taken the tea leaves themselves after they've been strained, put them in a little tea bag, and if I've got an issue like a mosquito bite, then I'll actually put that little tea bag on the mosquito bite and it'll help with the inflammation there as well. The calendula tea is gentle enough for most people, and I also with children, with young children. Now, again, reminder that if you are allergic to any of the plants in the Asteraceae family, like ragweed or daisies, then you do want to avoid calendula for yourself or for your children. And I also suggest that you start with a small amount. So you might want to start with 1 cup of tea and see how that sits with you. And if there's no issues, then you can proceed from there and maybe go to 2 cups and work your way up until you know it's safe for you, especially if you have a tendency to have sensitivities to certain plants or things that you ingest. We're going to turn that off and let it sit for 5 minutes. Now, we don't want to use it boiling right from the stove to the tea. So just give it about 5 minutes. Just take that edge off of it. My water sat for 5 minutes. I'm gonna let it cool down just a wee bit. Now I'm going to use fresh calendula petals today. So for fresh petals for fresh calendula I need 2 tablespoons. So I'm gonna pop that in, kind of squeeze them in there a bit because I want to make sure we get lots. A little hard to measure when it keeps moving around on you. So 1, and it is sticky, and 2. Squeeze them in there. Okay, so 2 tablespoons of fresh calendula is in there. So now I'm going to take my hot water and pour it over. So it is still nice and steamy. And oops, wait a minute, forgot one step. I want 1 cup of hot water to 2 tablespoons. So we're going to put it in here first, get my 1 cup measure, and then I'm going to pour that over my calendula petals. So in this teapot, 1 cup doesn't look like very much. So if I wanted to make more tea, if I'm serving maybe company, can't really see it through the steam, but so there's 1 cup floating around. And again, this is my little mesh strainer in here, so you can see the leaves in there. And it's already starting to turn a bit yellow. So 10 to 15 minutes, and then we'll check it out again. I almost forgot to tell you, it is important to put the lid on this, because otherwise you can see the steam coming out of here maybe. I don't know if you can see that steam coming out. Well, with that steam are some of the essential oil constituents that are in there that will dissipate. You'll lose them. You want to keep them in the container here with your tea. So our 15 minutes is up. So I suggested 10 to 15 minutes. I actually like 15 minutes because I like my tea just a little bit stronger. And we talked about the nice golden color that it would be when it's ready. I do see that golden color, but I think that might be a little hard for you to see. So I'm just going to pour a bit out into here so that you can actually see that nice golden color. So hopefully you can see that. Beautiful, nice golden color. See a few little petals floating in there that didn't get strained out. All right, so this could be my teacup, but actually I'm going to use this lovely teacup. I'm going to pour it into there. And you can add honey if you like. I always like honey, and I buy my honey from a local farmer, so I know I can trust it. And I like a little bit of honey in my tea. So give it a stir. Oh, honey's dissolving. Ah, delicious. So, I hope you get a chance to try this recipe. I think you'll enjoy it as much as I did, and you'll also benefit from all those healing properties that this calendula tea has. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like button, and also if you want notifications, hit that one as well. That way you'll get a notification of the next upcoming video, which will be on making infused oils with calendula. And if you've got any comments on this video, maybe there's something I missed, something you want to learn more about, please let me know too in the comments what you thought of this and what you'd like to see more of. So cheers and happy foraging.